All right, I want to talk about cropping and adjusting elevation section markers. It's a good practice to pick one of your views. In this case, I'm starting with the floor plans and adjust the crop box and update the section and elevation markers. So down in your view control bar in the bottom left are two crop options. One is crop region and one is show crop region. So I'm going to left click on this one next to the glasses and go to show crop region. And it's going to turn on a crop region. And then if I pick that, it'll show the size and crop option. And if I click on that, it's going to give me kind of a weird size, like 5/8 of an inch by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cancel that. Before you adjust the crop region, what you really need to do is tell it to crop, because I had just turned the crop region on. We want to tell it to crop the view as well. So if I left click on this crop view, nothing is going to change because everything is within my crop box. But now when I pick the crop box and I go to size and crop, I'm going to get the size of the crop box in relationship to a 32nd of an inch equals a foot. So at a 32nd of an inch equals a foot, this crop box is 11 by 17, which is probably the size of the sheet of the paper. Now, if I wanted to adjust this crop box to bring it down closer to this, so I have a smaller crop box, so maybe I can fit, more than one plan on a sheet, I can change the size of that, and I'm just going to change this to 8 by 5. And I'm going to hit apply, and it's going to make that crop box smaller. Now you're going to notice my section markers are still visible, but my elevation markers have disappeared. Now if you're going to have elevations in your final set, you can move those elevations into the crop box so you can see them. If you're not going to have elevations, you can just leave them outside and leave them cropped. But let's take a look at how you would move those. Basically, you have to tell it not to crop right now so you can see those elevation markers. So I'm going to come back down here and tell it not to crop the view. So now it's not cropping the view, but it's showing me where the crop area is. So if I wanted to move those elevation markers, I need to window around them. And then you can move them with the move hover, but I like to move them using the move command so it can be more accurate. So I'm going to left click on the move, and I am going to move this up, let's say 82 feet. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same for this, 82 feet. And I'm going to move this guy, I don't know, let's try 42 feet. And move this guy 42 feet. So you can now see that those are all inside the crop area. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just single click on this elevation, and you're going to see that it has a line that goes along with it. That's actually the section line, so it's sectioning the model here and looking that way. What I want to do is I want to pick these little blue markers and move them into the crop box, because that's basically going to move them. It's actually going to change the size of the elevation crop when you look at it. So I'm going to move those guys in, and we'll see this more with the section later. Just going to adjust, whoops, see I actually got the line on that one, so it's now actually moving my elevation line around. I don't want to do that, so Control Z, pick it again, whoops, got the section, got the elevation, oh, drive me bananas. There we go, make sure I get the blue dot this time, drag it in. You see it's kind of wanting to line up with that section. We're going to move this guy in. Okay, move this guy in. This, in the long run, is good housekeeping because it's actually adjusting the crop views for the elevation right now, even though you can't see them. Alright, so just double checking, making sure I got all of them. Alright, that's good. So now let's move the section markers in. And to do that, you can left click on the section marker and pick that top blue and move that section marker in. Do the same thing for here. Move that section marker in. And then what you want to do is you see this range, the view range for the section. You want to do the same thing that you did with the elevations, and I'm going to move these into the edge of the crop box. And this is going to adjust the crop box for that section. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this. Move that section marker in and move that section marker in. Okay, so now if we're happy with that setup, that's fine. And we'll just use this as the base. Now, one other thing is there are two different section markers in here. You can see over here on the right hand side, one is a building section and one is building section red. Not hard to choose which one is which. So let's just say I've decided I want to use the section marker red, so only, and not two different ones. So I'm going to select this building section, and you'll see it gives me that the name of that over here in the properties dialog box. And if I go to the pull down, I left click on that, there's building section red, so I can select that. Right, so now I have two building section reds. You can see now that they're both stacked under that same name. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and readjust these. Since I changed them, they need to be readjusted so they're not on top of the elevation markers. Now again, I may not have elevations, so I may not want these markers to show. You could have left them outside the crop box, or you can left click on one of them, right click, hide in view category, and it will hide all those elevation markers. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to do that. Okay, so one other thing just to show you again how it's sizing the crop box. If I select this again just to confirm, whoops, sorry, cancel. You see I don't have it, it's not cropping right now, so it's giving you that strange size. So I'm going to cancel that. And I'm going to come down here and tell it to crop view. Pick that, size and crop. And now it's telling me it's 8 by 5, which is the size that I want. If I change the scale of this, it will update the crop box and the size of the elevation markers based on the scale. So if I come to 1/32 and I change it to, let's say, 1/16 just to make the math simple, it gets larger by 2. The section indicators get smaller, and then if I select this and go to size and crop, it doubles the size, right? Because we just increased the scale by a factor of 2, right? Okay, so just to show you that, I'm going to go back to my 32nd. Okay, so the crop box stays the same. The section markers update based on the scale, as does the crop box. All right, so now let's go ahead and open up our level 1 plan. All right, and you'll see there's the crop box. In level 1, it's already turned on and it's already being cropped. If yours isn't, you can turn it on down here. So I can select that crop box, size and crop, set it to 8 by 5, and apply. Okay, so it goes smaller. Now I could go ahead and adjust these level markers, or however I wanted to do it. I could hide again these elevation markers in this view if I want to. But if you want to be a little bit more accurate, you can set up some guides so your section markers are in the same relative place as they are in your site view. So I'm just going to WT window tile. I'm going to close this guy because I don't need it. And maximize window tile again, and zoom extents for each one of these. Okay, so if we want the section markers to be pretty much in the same place as they are in the site plan, you can come to your architecture tab, and there is a reference plane option over here in the work plane. So I'm going to left click on reference plane, and I'm just going to draw a reference plane. You don't have to be exact, but I'm just going to draw a reference plane on each side of these. Okay. And then I'm just going to zoom in and I'm going to select that reference plane and nudge it to the end of that section marker. Woo, I got that one pretty close. Don't need to move it. Take that one, nudge it, and you can see that they are also appearing in my level 1 plan, right? So basically these are three-dimensional, or they're really two-dimensional planes that go up and down in the Z direction. They give you a little guides that you can then use to adjust these. Now one more thing I want to check, I don't think I did it, but if I pick, right, so that section, this section is actually sized to the edge of this crop box, but if I pick this section, it's much bigger than that crop box, and you want to go ahead and adjust this similarly to the elevation. Just get it as close as you can to the edge of the crop box. Okay, get in there. Okay. And it's just a good idea to spend some time doing this because it's going to give you a benefit down the road, and we'll see that in a minute. Okay, so now I can come in to my level 1 plan, and you can see that the crop box for the adjustments have come across to here, and I can come in and move my section markers in using those guides. And you can come in and get them more accurately, you know, by zooming in. I'm moving a little quickly right now, just to speed up. Now, I'm zoomed in on the right side of this, and if the section marker is on, let me come over here, zoom in on the right side of this. We see that the section view range is pretty close here, but if I come back over here, it's a little off. That's because the crop box is a little off. You could actually pick the crop box and just nudge it over using your arrow keys, maybe 2, and then pick the section marker, and it needs to go over a little bit more, so I'll do a couple more, and then pick the section marker, and you see it's lined up. So if you want to be really picky, you can go in and do that. All right, now you could use those adjustments to adjust the other floor plans as well. If I open up level 2, you're going to see that that crop box is similarly here, so you could resize it and move everything in. So go ahead and make sure that you're being accurate in the way that you are, the notations are working, and the way that your crop boxes are set up. Okay, so for the next installment, what we're going to do is take a look at sections and how you would want to crop those and adjust those once you've got your plan set up.